Hello everybody, welcome to another Q&A Dhamma meeting where we will discuss the Buddhist practices of charity, morality and meditation. Everyone who is interested is welcome to join. When you submit in your question, please submit it one at a time. Please be brief and precise. Please let me know where you come from if this is your first time. Also, how is the video and audio today? I will start reading your comment and question. From IE, Namaskaran Thanajan, Tony Ip, Satu, Eli Hassan, good day, teacher, video and audio clear. Thank you. Kenneth Hunt, good morning Thanajan, you are clear, thank you. Metta Vandana, Satu, Satu. Early bird today, Metta. Must be what? 8 o'clock, okay. No, 8 in the evening, I'm sorry. Forgot the time. 8:30 in the evening in California. Hendrayani Sen, Namo Buddhaya Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn. I enjoy staying from Ajahn. You're welcome. Tony Thanajan, good afternoon. Video and audio are in good condition. Thank you. Metta Vandana, 8:30 p.m. Ajahn. Yes, I miscalculated. I thought it was 5:30 in the morning. Sorry. Bilim Suki Hotu Thanajan, Satu Satu. It usually takes a while for people to come up with some questions. So we'll just take it easy and wait. Reshu, good afternoon, Ajahn. Good afternoon to you. Shil Hishan, reading from Concord to Thanajan. I am so glad that Thanajan looks better than last week. Thank you. Hendrayani Sen, Namo Buddhaya Ajahn. Question from Salanji, Sri Lanka. Question number 1. How would you describe the status of the mind of a Sovan a Sakadagami, Anagami? Could you explain in detail what is her capabilities and what their remaining defilements are? I think a Sotapanna has got rid of 3 defilements or fetters. First is the wrong view of seeing the body as himself or herself. You could see that the body is just a natural phenomena, a work of nature made up from the four elements, and it is subjected to change, to aging, sickness, and death. So having understand this, Sotapanna let go of his or her attachment to the body, and thus have no fear of the body becoming old, becoming sick, or die. Because it's a Sotapanna look at the body like looking at the weather. The weather could change from snow to rain, from rain to storm, to drought. So the body is like that. It's a work of nature. No one can stop it from becoming old, becoming sick, and die. And by seeing this, the Sotapanna let go of his or her cravings for the body to exist forever, to not get old, get sick, or die. And by letting go of this craving, Sotapanna see the stress or suffering in the mind disappear. So Sotapanna see the Four Noble Truths in real time. Therefore, Sotapanna has no doubt in the Dhamma teaching of the Buddha, and consequently has no doubt in the Buddha himself, whether he existed or not. And also no doubt in the Sangha, the noble disciple, because he has become one. And Sotapanna also see the working of the mind that causes dukkha, or stress, or suffering, mainly cravings for things, and the other is caused by bad karma. So Sotapanna would not do any more bad karma, even if he has to die. He would not do any bad karma to protect his life. So this is the three fetters that Sotapanna has got rid of. The wrong view of the body as being a self, and the doubt in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, and has no doubt in rituals. He sees ritual has no place in Buddhism. It's the bad karma that causes the suffering, cause the harm and danger to the mind, not anything else. So there's no need to do any rituals. The only ritual Sotapanna will do is to keep the 5 precepts forever. Then the Sotapanna will then move up to the second level, called Sakidagami, by contemplating on the unpleasant aspect of the body, so that the Sotapanna can diminish or make the sexual desire become less, but not completely disappear yet. If he can get rid of his sexual desire for 50%, he becomes a Sakidagami, meaning his sexual desire is much less than a Sotapanna, but not yet completely disappear, because he hasn't yet contemplated the asubha nature of the body, so he can see the body as being asubha or unpleasant at all times. Once he could do that, when he sees the body as being unpleasant at all times, such as seeing the skeleton of a body every time he sees a body, then he reached the third stage of enlightenment, that of Anagami, in which he has got rid of the 2 fetters of sexual desire and feeling sad and lonely or unhappy due to the consequence of having sexual desire. So these two fetters will be got rid of when a noble disciple can see the body as being unpleasant at all times. So this is the 3 levels of enlightenment. And Anagami still has 5 more fetters of defilements to get rid of. That is attachment to Rupa Jhana, attachment to Arupa Jhana, conceit, restlessness, and ignorant of the remaining cravings that he hasn't yet got rid of, or his attachment to the concept of a body, of a self. He still look at the body as the self, although he doesn't look at the body as a self. And Anagami still look at the mind as a self. And this he has to get rid of in order to completely get rid of all the mental stress left in the mind. So this is a roughly explanation to your question about the noble disciples. Kenneth Tan keep up. Greeting Ajahn, may you be well and happy. Audio and visual is good. Question number 2 from Samanji. Parita chanting is quite popular in any Buddhist country, and it is said to offer immense mental and physical benefits. However, since the verses are in Pali, some of us do not know the exact meaning of each and every line. For example, if a person recites Karaniya Metta Sutta without knowing its full meaning, he may not feel the power of bestowing metta on others, as reflected in the sutta. Will merely reciting Parita without knowing its meaning be of any use? Yes, say, by reciting a sutta, one has to be mindful. So one is developing mindfulness when one chants a sutta, a Parita sutta. Even though one doesn't understand the meaning of the sutta, one uses it as the object of concentration. So one can stop thinking about other things. By doing this, the mind becomes peaceful and calm temporarily. But not understanding what one is reciting will not give one the knowledge or wisdom that one can apply in one's practice. See, every sutta is actually the teaching of the Buddha. If you understand the teaching, such as the 4 foundations of mindfulness, then you will understand what the Buddha is telling us what to do. Same way with every sutta, the Buddha is telling us what we should do. In the case of Karaniya Metta Sutta, the Buddha teaches us to practice mindfulness to all living beings, either visible or not visible. And by doing so, one can reap the benefit of having loving kindness, such as will be joyful all the time, whether awake or asleep. When one sleeps, one doesn't have any bad dreams. One will be loved and protected by people and devas, etc. So This is the meaning of the sutta. If one practices mindful, if one practices loving kindness, one will reap the 10 benefits from loving kindness. But if one doesn't understand the sutta, if one just use it as an object of mindfulness, one can have calm, peace, and happiness from chanting. It's like doing anapanasati, but in a easier form by chanting, because the mind isn't yet have enough mindfulness to focus on the breathing, on the breath. So one used the chanting instead. But after finished chanting, if one wants to go deeper into meditation, then one has to switch to watching the breath. Because watching the breath can make the mind go deeper into jhana. Christine Coe, Satu Satu. Hendrayani Sen, thank you Ajahn. Enjoy studying Dhamma from Ajahn. You're welcome. Terence T.H. Lee. Hi Thanajan, during last Tuesday's Zoom session, you mentioned it's almost impossible for lay people to gain enlightenment unless they are special. May I ask what kind of lay people are possible to gain enlightenment? Thanks. Someone who understood the teaching of the Buddha, and someone who has a calm and peaceful mind. Then it will be easy for that person to become enlightened. Just merely by listening to the teaching of the Buddha or studying the teaching of the Buddha. If one has a peaceful, calm mind with equanimity, and when one can understand the rationality taught by the Buddha, cause and effect, then one can become enlightened. One will understand the Four Noble Truths and know how to practice accordingly. Subha Barua Satu Satu. Bruce Lee Alam Saya. Namaskar dear Ajahn. Metta Vandana. Ajahn, I am observing my knee pain closely while meditating, and also its different levels. It goes from sharp to intense and fades away, like numbness. But at one point I had to change my posture because the pain got worse. It is still mental defilement. It is okay to change posture mindfully since I never leave samadhi. Now once you move your body, you are restarting your meditation. You're coming back at 0 point again, at the starting point again. If you want to maintain your samadhi, then you will have to leave the pain alone. And the best way to leave the pain alone is to focus your mind on something else, such as a mantra. Instead of watching the pain, focus on your mantra, Bhutto, Bhutto. Or if you like to do chanting, you can do that also. Because when you focus on the pain, then your mind will eventually have to react to the pain with cravings. Because you find that it's impossible to stay with the pain anymore. But if you forget about the pain, when you focus on the mantra, then you won't have any cravings or desire to stay away from the pain. And you can leave the pain alone that way. So when you have painful feeling, if your equanimity is not strong enough yet, don't look at the pain. Try to focus on something else. Distract your mind from the pain. Because if you keep watching the pain, you will undoubtedly or eventually want to get rid of the pain or get away from the pain. When you do that, you lost your concentration, you lost your meditation. You will restart your meditation from 0 again. But if you concentrate on your mantra and not paying attention to your pain, then the pain will not bother you and you can continue on with your meditation and make the mind become calm and peaceful. And when you get to that point, then the pain will not bother you anymore. Iva Chakma Satu Satu Chien Buk Buok Namo Buddhaya Pasana Chunasevi. Reading from Bangkok, Ajahn. We can let go the emotion by seeing the truth and stop the desire. Is it the right way? Thank you very much, Ajahn. Yes, if you can stop your cravings or your desire, then you can stop the stress in your mind. I.e., Thanajan, sometimes there is often a desire to just stay quiet and stay away from busy activities. But it is very difficult if we are still living in a family and still have to work. Please, Thanajan, provide guidance on dealing with this so that everything is balanced. Well, whenever you have the desire to stay away, why don't you take a time off and go stay alone for a few days in a monastery? You can go temporarily and then come back after you have finished your stay there. You don't have to live with your family all the time. You can ask them for permission to go for a brief vacation alone in a monastery, for instance, so that you can develop stronger mindfulness and equanimity. Then when you come back, you will be able to live with them more in harmony than in conflict. Question number 3a from Samanji. As I understand, the butcher who kills the animals for other people's consumption to sell in the market to cater to the demands of meat consumers violate the first precept, thus committing a grave sin. But those who would buy meat from the butcher seller will not acquire any bad karma. Am I correct? Yes. Because the buyer did not kill or ask the butcher to do the killing for the buyer. The buyer just happened to come by the butcher place and see that he has some meat to sell. So he support the butcher, support his livelihood, even though it's not a good livelihood. But for the supporter, this is not considered to be breaking the precept. Question number 3b from Samanji. Could you elaborate on the bad karmic effect of violating the first precept? Well, the first precept is the worst of the other precepts. Yeah. Killing is worse than stealing. Stealing is worse than committing adultery. Committing adultery is worse than telling lies. So the consequence from this action will vary. Killing is the worst, and you get the worst consequence if you compare it with the other three consequences, the other three precepts. But what is the consequence of killing? It depends on the reason for killing. If you kill for survival, you will become animal. When you die, your mind will turn into animal. Actually, your mind has turned into an animal while you're still alive, because you kill for survival. So you are acting like animals. Second, if you kill out of greed, if you want to have more, even though you don't really need it, then you become a hungry ghost. Your mind becomes a hungry ghost, forever still hungry for more things. And regardless of how much you get, you will not be fulfilled. You will feel hungry all the time. Third, if you kill for out of fear, you become a scary ghost, a ghost or a spiritual being that is constantly in fear. Fourth, if you kill out of hatred, for revenge, for instance, your mind will be, you will go to hell when you die. The mind will become a hellish being, constantly consumed by the fire of hatred and anger. So this is the consequence of breaking the first precept. Actually, breaking all the precepts can cause the same thing, but the intensity of the consequence can be different. Could be light to heavy. So if you kill out for survival, or you steal for survival, if you commit adultery for survival, if you lie for survival, you will become animal. If you do it out of greed, you become a hungry ghost. If you do it out of fear, you become a scary ghost. If you do it out of hatred, you become hellish beings. So this is the consequence of breaking the precepts, the four precept. The fifth precept is not considered to be bad karma. It doesn't cause any of this consequence, but it's the one that will trigger. It will be easier for a person who drink and get drunk to commit bad karma than who doesn't drink or get drunk. Tan Siu Hong, thank you, Tan Ajahn, Sadhu. Handy Box, good day, Ajahn. May you be well and happy. Thank you. San Fernando, Sadhu. Hendrayani, Tan Ajahn. Mengapa, Satya. I'm sorry, I don't understand your language. You have to do it in English for me to be able to understand it. I'm sorry. Prangsa JW, thank you, Rajan. You're welcome. Patarapon Vosuk, Sadhu, Sadhu. Question number 5 from Samanji. Is pet breeding, dog breeding ethical? What is the Buddhist point of view? No, we should not make a living out of the life of other beings. Breeding, pet, do human trafficking, for instance. This is considered bad livelihood. Metta Vandana, thanks for your response, Ajahn. I will try this. You're welcome. Nga Chung Tiang, Sadhu, Sadhu. Question number 6 from Samanji. Intake of intoxicants is a violation of the fifth precept. Some people hold the view that intake of soft liquor, wine is fine and not a violation of the fifth precept, as soft liquor is not an intoxicant. And is this a misconception? I think it depends on the amount of intoxicant you take into your body. The point is that when you become drunk, you will not be able to control your action, that's your mind especially. When you want to do bad karma, it's easy to do when you are drunk than when you are not drunk. So the Buddha wants us to be sober so that we can control our action more. more easily than when we are drunk. But drinking itself is not committing any bad karma because you haven't yet hurt anybody. But if you take a lot of alcohol and then you become drunk and not capable of controlling your emotions, and then you might not be able to control your action. And when you feel like hurting someone, you will do it easily if you are drunk than when you're not drunk. So it's better not to take any at all because who knows, one drink can lead to the second drink, to the third drink, and so forth. Because the amount of your body demanding the same effect will become more and more. When we first take a glass of alcohol, your body will react. But the next time you take another glass of alcohol, your body will not react the same, like when you have the first time. So if you want to have the same reaction, you might have to take 2 glasses instead of 1. This is the reason why people drink more and more, to get the same effect out of drinking. And eventually, by taking more and more, they become drunk. And they will not be able to take care of their action when they feel to hurt somebody or something. It is easy to do when you are drunk than when you are not drunk. Ratio war. Ajahn, you have missed Q4. Well, Q4 has Q3 has two parts. So Q4 is the Q3B. Q3B is the Q4. I think. No, I'm sorry. Q4 is next now. Okay, it just came in Q4. But first, let me go back to Xiao Hishang question. Can Ajahn give some advice so that my practice can be more stable? Where I'm staying right now is good, but I think staying in a more secluded place such as the forest would be more conducive to my concentration practice. Yes, the location of your practice can make a lot of difference. So if you can stay in a quiet surrounding that will allow you to have constant practices, then your practice will be more stable than when you live in a location where you cannot practice constantly. So in order to get good result, maintain the good result, you have to have constant practice all the time. Let me go to Samanji's question number 4. Is the gender into which a person is born determined by his/her past karma? If so, what are those past karma? See, as a man or as a female, you have different way of thinking, different way of doing things, and this is considered to be the work of your karma. Women like flowers, like beautiful things, while men like something more heavy and strong, for instance. These are the causes that make a person become a male or a female, their likings. What they used to like in the past will carry them to the next life. If you're a woman in this life, you will probably be a woman again in your next life. If you want to change your gender, you have to change your liking. You have to start to like a man does. Then eventually you will change your character, and then you will then take up a different gender when you born in your next lifetime. But this might take a few lifetimes. So in between you might have a conflict. Half of your mind wants to be male and half of your mind wants to be woman. Or maybe 60% of your mind wants to be male and 40% wants to be woman. Then you will have this conflict, have a male body with a female mind, for instance, like we call homosexuals. They have half and half liking in the mind, two liking. One, they still like to be a woman, but they also like to be a man also. So this causes the sex of the gender to be somewhere in between, not fully male and not fully female, half and half. Celestino, Sadhu Thanajan, happy to listen to your Dhamma today. You're welcome. Enilam, Sadhu. Question number 7 from Samanji. When diagnosed of some kind of a disease, physical ailment, the patient often focuses on her illness, and that would aggravate the illness even further. How should a physically ill person maintain her mental well-being, fitness, without fully focusing on the physical ailment? Could you explain using the teaching of the Buddha? The Buddha teaches us to instill in our mind at all times the conditions of the body. He said that having been born, the body will get old, get sick, and die. And this is something that is not avoidable. It is something that will happen to everybody. And by learning the truth and accepting the truth, then one will not be disturbed mentally when one gets old, gets sick, or die. So this is, you have to contemplate on this impermanent nature of the body until you become fully aware and accepting the truth of this condition. Then when things happen, you will not feel, your mind will not feel disturbed by the sickness of the body. And you can maintain your mental well-being. Your mind will not be affected if you constantly teach your mind to accept the truth of the body. Accept that the body will get old, the body will get sick, and the body will die. And if you find that you cannot accept, it means you need to do some meditation, because your defilement doesn't want to accept this truth. So you have to calm down your defilement by doing meditation practice. When you meditate, when your mind becomes calm, your defilement will also stop reacting to this truth and will accept the truth eventually. So you need both the wisdom and the practice of samadhi to maintain a mental well-being when your body is subjected to aging, sickness, or death. Anak Satu. Akami Amy Po, Ajahn, may I check with you what can I do correctly on my parents' 1 year death anniversary? What is best for the departed? The only thing you can do for the departed is to share the merit you get from doing some charity, from dana. You can donate some money to the temple or to any organization that you like, to school, to the Red Cross, to whoever you want to donate the money to. Or help the sick, help the poor, help the needy. Then you can share this merit for your parents, for your departed parents. That's the only thing you can do for them. Bruce Lee Alamsaya, question number 1. Did the Buddha allow the monk to take thrown clothes or rugs when it is available, and then make something out of it, like patches from ropes, bowl cover or small bag, etc. Should monks live such frugally and be happy from nothing much? In Singapore, we are scavenging as Karung Koni. Thank you very much for your kind wisdom, dear Ajahn. Well, during the time of the Buddha, things are hard to come by. Robes, material to make robes are hard to come by. So, in order to live and not bother other people, the Buddha, not just the Buddha, but people who ordain, those who are recluses, those who practice spirituality, usually go collect robes in the cemetery, collect material, cloth that is used to wrap around a corpse. Once the corpse have decay, then the cloth doesn't have any usefulness anymore. Then the people who ordain will then take the cloth from the corpse to make robes, to make whatever they need. This is how people who ordain did for robes. They by picking up material, discarded material, either in the cemetery or on a garbage heap. This way, the monks will not have to disturb the lay people for supply. George Hart, Sadhu. Question number 8 from Samanji. People are used to criticize others and often fail to praise others and pay compliments. What are the bad karmic consequences of being critical always without seeing any good in others? You'll get exactly the same thing you do to other people. If you criticize other people, you'll get criticism from other people. If you give compliment to other people, you'll get compliment back. So try to give compliments and try to abstain from criticizing people. Then people will not criticize you. People will only give you compliments. Shio Shishan, thanks Tanajan for your advice. My second question is, does the Deva create any bad karma when he possessing a person to do this or that for him? In my opinion, the Deva is interrupting that person's life. But actually, a Deva cannot possess anybody. This is a misunderstanding. A Deva doesn't go possess anybody's body. This is a misperception. This is a misunderstanding on the part of human. Spiritual being cannot possess other beings. So, there's no bad karma. When you become a Deva, this is the time when you go reap the benefit of your good karma. You don't do any bad karma. The only time you can do bad karma is when you become human being. This is the time when you do good or bad karma as human being. But once you become a Deva or become a spiritual being, you don't do any karma. You are reaping the consequence of the fruits of your karma. Akemi Amy. Question number 2. Normally, we will visit and pay respect to the departed ones. What should I chant for them? Your chanting doesn't help. You cannot chant and help them. When you chant, you're doing for yourself. When you chant, you're practicing mindfulness. That's all. So you don't have to chant anything. You can chant anything, but it doesn't make any difference. The only thing you can do for them is to give to charity and then share the merits from giving to the departed one. Other thing you cannot do. Any other thing else you cannot do for them. Savante, Satu, Satu. Question number 9 from Samanji. What are the benefits of looking after one's parent in their old age? And could you elaborate on Buddha's words on looking after parents? Well, looking after your parents is another act of charity, another form of doing charity. But it's a very important form of charity because you are paying back somebody who has looked after you, who have helped you, brought you into the world, and give you what you have today. So when you're looking after them, it's like showing your respect, your gratitude. The Buddha said that looking after your parents, you reap the same benefit as if you're looking after the Buddha and his noble disciples. So you make a lot of merit when you take care of your parents, because it shows that you have respect, it shows that you have kindness, loving kindness, it shows that you have gratitude. These are important qualities for good people. When people see you do something like this, they will respect you and they will trust you. They can judge you from this action of being helpful to your parents. Because if you cannot be helpful to your parents, who would you be helpful to? If you cannot look after your parents, nobody would like to go help you. Because by helping you, you will not give them return back the service one day in the future. So the Buddha said the parents are like noble disciples, arahants to their children, and when they look well, take good care of their parents, they are making a lot of merit, a lot of charity work. This can send them to heaven when they die. Akemi Amy Po Satu. Question number 2 from Ayi. Ajahn, sorry for this silly question. Can the scary ghosts appear in front of us? What should we do if that happens? Can the scary ghosts hurt us? No, they usually don't appear in front of you. You have to have a psychic ability to be able to see them. If you don't, then you don't have to worry about it. And if you have psychic power, it means you have a very strong mind. So there's no need, you will not be scared of any spiritual beings anyway. So don't worry about it. If you see anything, it's more in your imagination than it is the truth. Nong Lin Satu Satu. Akemi Amy Po. Ajahn, thank you for your clear explanation. Satu Satu. Lin Satu. Tichaya Lila Satu Satu. Okay, we still have about 10 more minutes left before we end this meeting. So you can still send in more questions if you have any. Question number 10 from Samanji. What are the greatest meritorious deeds as explained in Buddhism? Is to become enlightened through the 4 stages of enlightenment, becoming a Sotapanna, a Sakidagami, Anagami, and Arahant. These are the most meritorious deeds. By the practice of meditation and wisdom, to get rid of your fetters, the 10 fetters. But before you can get to that point, you have to practice morality and charity first. These are the prerequisites for the practice of meditation and wisdom. You have to practice charity and morality. And once you can do that, then you can then progress toward the practice of meditation and wisdom. And when you do that, you will then be able to attain the 4 stages of enlightenment. Adeline Chin, good afternoon, Tanajan. Terry Shi, good afternoon and thank you, Tanajan. You're welcome. Kwan Patum Napa, Satu Satu. Akami Amy, Ajahn, how Theravada Buddhism see when lighting the incense to the Deva? Should we light incense or not? It's not prohibited to pay respect, to show respect to anybody really, to your parents, to your boss, to your husband or your wife if you want to show respect. It's good to show respect, but you don't need to use incense or candles. The best way to show respect is by your action. To show respect out by your good action, your good deeds. Shio Hishan, thanks Tanajan, Satu, Satu. May Tanajan have a great afternoon. Thank you, you're welcome. Ratio, thank you for the teaching. I am so glad and feel blessed for this first lesson. Very fruitful, Satu. You're welcome. Fanny Ong, thank you, Tanajan, for today's teaching. You're welcome. Thank you for your company. Make my time pass away quickly. When I sit here for 1 hour, it seems like only 30 minutes. Ekami, Amy, thank you, Ajahn, for your valuable teaching. You're welcome. Bruce Lee, thank you very much for today, dear Ajahn. And it has always been a pleasure to be able to listen and learn through Dhamma. You're welcome. We Hua, thank you for sharing this Q&A Dhamma session. Satu, Satu. Tay Seng Hin, good afternoon, Tanajan. May I know the difference between delusion, moha, and ignorance? Avijja, thank you. They usually refer to the same thing. Delusion is seeing the opposite of the truth, such as seeing impermanence in something that is impermanent, seeing happiness in something that is not happiness, seeing a self in something that has no self. This is moha or delusion. Avijja, it means doesn't know the truth. Avijja is doesn't know the truth of the 3 characteristics of existence, the truth of the 4 noble truths. Yeo Fu Ti, thank you, Ajahn. You're welcome. Ayi, question number 3. Is it true that we give up our partner to practice monkhood or to become a mechi? That partner will born as a person who is always happy for 500 lifetimes. It depends on that partner. If that partner is happy with your renunciation, yes, they will be happy for 500 lifetimes. But if they are not happy, then they will not be happy for 500 lifetimes also. Some partner, when they lose someone they love, they become unhappy. But some partner who understand the nature of the partner's departing and 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 agree and can be happy. So it depends on the partner whether the partner is happy or not happy. Then this can stick in the mind for a long time. Ayi, thank you very much,ท่านอาจารย์ for your teaching. Ayi, namaskar, ท่านอาจารย์ Sadhu, you're welcome. Okay, I think no more question has come in so far. So I'll wrap this meeting up right now. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope this meeting can give you some benefit and clarify some of the questions that you have in your mind and help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you all at the same time next week. Thank you and goodbye.